Now, we've been through these tactics 100 times, and I know you're not always going to get them right.
Ow! Ow!
That's okay.
That was genius.
That's why you have a partner to keep an eye out for you.
What the hell?
When you're out there, you need to focus on one thing and one thing only: teamwork.
Now we're talking.
You know, the whole game is based on like realism of what's going. It's what you see on the news today. It's what you see going on in the world today. And these PMC guys are sort of hyper realistic in that they have all this armor and they have these masks. And what those masks afford us is like anonymity. So you as the player can sort of put yourself in their shoes because you're not looking at their face. You don't see them directly as a human. You just see them acting out their actions in the game world, and you can sort of put yourself in their perspective to see how they're dealing with the situations. And the morality of it is like they're earning money. And then through the story, they have different objectives and different missions they have to do. And sometimes it goes against morality, but if you want to play the game and you want to earn the money, you have to do it. But you also learn from that the repercussions in the story. We have this super political underlying story, right, to talk about the problems with the privatized military and what issues that creates with the world in general. But, you know, you can't just put that in someone's face and expect them to swallow it, you know? So we sort of take the buddy cop mentality where, like a Bad Boys, where you have these two guys who are sort of bantering back and forth and doing their thing to overlay comedy, but in the end they have to deal with this real situation.
I'm driving.
You, I'm driving.
You want a piece of this, huh?
Come on! Give him everything you've got!
When you play with a partner AI and with your partner online, you can sort of interact with each other and, you know, like congratulate or, you know, slap them or whatever and do that sort of stuff. So it kind of adds the extra play beyond the gameplay.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is learning that you have to play with someone else and you have to play together, right? If you and me are playing and I'm going to hang back and you're going to run out and get killed, it's not the game that killed you. It wasn't because the AI was harder, because it was that difficult. It was that you didn't play together. You didn't work with your partner properly. You know, you didn't communicate with the aggro system. And I think that's the biggest thing that people are going to find is the way our aggro works. You get all the attention. Of course, you're going to die faster if you're not in cover and stuff like that. So you want to balance out with your partner. Like you take the aggro, I take the aggro. Is if you both fire at the same time, it'll kind of dance in the middle and play more like a regular shooter. So it's up to you guys to choose how you want to play the game and how you want to get each scenario to work. The reason we find co-op to be so popular is that it's the connectivity between the machines now. It's like you don't need to buy an adapter, you don't need to buy this or buy that. Everyone has high-speed internet, everyone has these game machines that you can instantly connect. It tends to draw people to want to play together. We looked at the shooter space, right? And we see all these shooters, like at E3 this year, there were like 11 shooters. So it's a tough space to innovate in. So we decided we wanted to make a co-op game and then layer a shooter on top of that. So we built it co-op from the ground up. We just had two guys doing things together, and then we decided later on how to layer that into what type of game is this going to be, right? Because you can't just say, hey, we're a co-op game, but you don't do anything else, right? So we just knew we'd have two characters, and what we're going to do, we actually, like, are they going to be cops? Are they going to be thieves? Are they going to be military? And kind of picked that topic from there, and then layered the shooter stuff on it and said, okay, well, so we have these co-op things like navigating a mesh, right, and getting through a world. You can do that without a gun. So we came up with all these different kind of co-op maneuvers. And then after we learned in the shooting, we said, okay, now with the shooting, what kind of co-op stuff can we do? And what could you originally do in current games? And how can we make that get communicated better with our co-op snipe? It's just through camera language, we've improved the ability for both players to, you know, take a shot on two targets or the same target at once without having to, you know, fight for 3 minutes trying to figure out where a target is and stuff like that. So halfway, I mean, there's a good portion of innovation, and a lot of it's taking what existed as a co-op thing that was just never honed down to be able to be communicated easily.
Yeah, I think you really hurt that truck.
Get behind me and shoot!
Oh, that's clever. Who do you think you are, MacGyver?
You can use the headset, and with that, you can issue commands to your AI partner. You have 6 commands in general, but what you have is you have your 3 base commands, which is advance, guard me, hold a position, and whether to build aggro or not. If you're shooting him in the back, he's going to give you crap. You can give him crap, and he'll actually respond. Like, he'll address these things. Like in co-op snipe, for example, if you're bad at taking shots, like say we track that you've done like 2 or 3 co-op snipes, and when you've called it, you've failed each time. So it's like, now this time, when you say, okay, we're going to do it on my count, he'll be like, no, we're doing it on mine, and argue back and forth with you. So like when you're playing bad, he'll take the lead. When you're playing good, he'll be more subservient. But then it's also based on his attitude of, are you sending him to die, or are you actually working with him?
All right, bro, let's do it.
Who the fuck do you think you are, Terrell Owens? Let's get out of this thing.
With our matchmaking system, right? So if you play with a stranger, we'll actually determine what weapons you use most often, how often you fire them. Like say you're a shotgun player, you tend to use a shotgun a lot. We'll pair you up with someone that uses a heavy machine gun, so we can build the aggro. Then you can go ahead and stealth around a guy and pop him from behind. So we'll compare your weapon stats, we'll compare how far you've gotten in the game, how much money you've earned, and your playstyle, record that, and then use that for the matchmaking. So no matter what, when you join a game either with a friend or kind of use the matchmaking system, you'll at least be with someone that's sort of on the same level as you. So it won't be too difficult.
Ain't that right, Salem? Salem!
Sorry, we were out kind of late last night.
Idiots.